What is going on, guys? Miles here, and today I'll be sharing with you guys 5 tips to make yourself a better player in Call of Duty World War II. If you guys do find this video useful, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, that would be amazing, but let's do this. My first tip is actually about bullet penetration in World War II because this seems to be actually really powerful compared to the other Call of Duties. I find especially on Aachen and Gibraltar, it's actually super easy to just shoot people through walls, and if someone's like head glitching, you don't have to like worry about shooting them in the head. You can just shoot through the wall, and that is actually fairly effective on nearly every map I can think of in the beta. So make sure you guys just shoot through the walls if someone is head glitching, because like 90% of the time it will be effective. Along with this, you can throw on FMJ. That attachment is ridiculously good in this game, and it will make killing people who head glitch a lot more easier. My second piece of advice is actually surrounding the new divisions feature of the game, and one main thing I would say about this is don't necessarily pick the division which corresponds with the weapon you're using. So for example, when I started with the STG, which is an assault rifle, I didn't actually use the infantry division, but I did stick with the airborne division. And the reason for that is because the main selling point, in my opinion, of the infantry division is the third primary weapon attachment. And since I just unlocked the STG, there was no good attachments I could use for that weapon, so instead I used the airborne division, and I got all the benefits such as moving for longer distances, mantling faster, and it was actually super useful for leveling up the weapon. And as I eventually got my STG up, I did switch to the infantry division so I could make use of the third primary attachment and use FMJ on it. My third piece of advice is about positioning and aiming down sights when you're peeking around corners. If you do this, you will win so many more gunfights than you currently do. It gives you a massive upper hand if you do like turn around a corner and pre-aim where you think the enemy will be. This is very useful if you do have the infantry division to level 4 and you're using it, because that effectively gives you stock and allows you to move faster whilst aiming down sights. But this is a really simple tip and it will win you a ton more gunfights. My fourth tip is a classic, and some of you guys may remember it if you have played the older Call of Duties, and that, my friends, is the return of Dropshotting, which has sort of faded out over the last couple of years because obviously with jetpacks you might as well just jump and shoot rather than lay prone and shoot. But if you guys don't know what dropshotting is, basically you may have already figured out, when you're in a 1v1 gunfight you basically want to lay prone as you shoot them, because then the enemy may actually start missing you, because if they shoot you in the chest and you're now on the floor, their bullets won't be hitting, but yours still will be. And dropshotting is actually a really good method to winning gunfights in this game, and not a lot of people use it, surprisingly, especially the people I've seen in the beta. I've seen barely anyone at all actually use dropshotting in this game, and if you guys do it, it will make you a much better player. However, dropshotting is pretty difficult on the default button layout, so if you guys do want to do this, make sure you change your button layout to tactical, as that will change your prone and crouch from circle to your right analog, which you're pretty much holding anyway, so it makes dropshotting super easy in this game, and you're probably not going to melee much anyway, and that is what is changed to a circle when you do use tactical, so I would definitely recommend using that button layout. My final tip is actually about sensitivity, and previous Call of Duties over the last few years have actually favoured higher sensitivities, and that's kind of obvious because with the jetpacks people can fly like a lot more vertically, so you do need to like snap to them, which is kind of hard to do on a lower sensitivity, especially if they're like flying over you and behind you. That can be super difficult, so you guys may have adjusted to higher sensitivities over the last recent years, but I would definitely recommend toning it down a little bit for Call of Duty World War II. There's a total of 14 different sensitivities, and you can change it for horizontal and vertical, and I would recommend using something around 3, which may seem really low, but that is around the default sensitivity, and this is going to make it so much easier to shoot people at longer ranges, as basically the more you move your analog, the less you'll move in game, and that'll make killing people from a longer distance a lot easier. I would recommend just finding a sensitivity where you can easily lock onto a target across the map Aachen, and if you could do that, then you've probably found a pretty good sensitivity. But there we have it, they are my top 5 tips for making yourself a better player in Call of Duty World War II multiplayer. Hopefully you guys found this video useful. If you did, let me know by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And also, let me know in the comments what type of videos do you want to see for Call of Duty World War II, but I'll see you guys in my next video.